Numbers chapter 8. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron, and say unto him, When thou lightest the lamps, the 7 lamps shall give light over against the candlestick. And Aaron did so. He lighted the lamps thereof over against the candlestick, as the Lord commanded Moses. And this work on the candlestick was of beaten gold, unto the shaft thereof, unto the flowers thereof was beaten work, according unto the pattern which the Lord had shewed Moses, so he made the candlestick. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Take the Levites from among the children of Israel, and cleanse them. And thus shalt thou do unto them to cleanse them. Sprinkle water of purifying upon them, and let them shave all their flesh, and let them wash their clothes, and so make themselves clean. Then let them take a young bullock with his meat offering, even fine flour mingled with oil, and another young bullock shalt thou take for a sin offering. And thou shalt bring the Levites before the tabernacle of the congregation, and thou shalt gather the whole assembly of the children of Israel together. And thou shalt bring the Levites before the Lord, and the children of Israel shall put their hands upon the Levites. And Aaron shall offer the Levites before the Lord for an offering of the children of Israel, that they may execute the service of the Lord. And the Levites shall lay their hands upon the heads of the bullocks. And thou shalt offer the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering unto the Lord, to make an atonement for the Levites. And thou shalt set the Levites before Aaron and before his sons, and offer them for an offering unto the Lord. Thus shalt thou separate the Levites from among the children of Israel, and the Levites shall be mine. And after that shall the Levites go in to do the service of the tabernacle of the congregation. And thou shalt cleanse them and offer them for an offering. For they are wholly given unto me from among the children of Israel, instead of such as open every womb, even instead of the firstborn of all the children of Israel, have I taken them unto me. For all the firstborn of the children of Israel are mine, both man and beast. On the day that I smote every firstborn in the land of Egypt, I sanctified them for myself. And I have taken the Levites for all the firstborn of the children of Israel. And I have given the Levites as a gift to Aaron and to his sons from among the children of Israel, to do the service of the children of Israel in the tabernacle of the congregation, and to make an atonement for the children of Israel, that there be no plague among the children of Israel, when the children of Israel come nigh unto the sanctuary. And Moses and Aaron and all the congregation of the children of Israel did to the Levites according unto all that the Lord commanded Moses concerning the Levites, so did the children of Israel unto them. And the Levites were purified, and they washed their clothes, and Aaron offered them as an offering before the Lord. And Aaron made an atonement for them to cleanse them. And after that went the Levites in to do their service in the tabernacle of the congregation before Aaron and before his sons. As the Lord had commanded Moses concerning the Levites, so did they unto them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, This is it that belongeth unto the Levites. From 25 years old and upward, they shall go in to wait upon the service of the tabernacle of the congregation. And from the age of 50 years they shall cease waiting upon the service thereof, and shall serve no more, but shall minister with the brethren in the tabernacle of the congregation to keep the charge, and shall do no service. Thus shalt thou do unto the Levites touching their charge. There are 3 items that you can learn from this one. A lot of people wonder, what does it mean over against the candlestick? And what that means is across from. In Hebrew, that means you would have, for instance, in the holy place, which was completely covered over, the source of light was the candlestick, burning the olive oil. And over against that meant on the far side of the wall. That would have been the table of the shewbread. The shewbread, if you remember, was 12 loaves of bread, very large pieces of bread, round, probably of about 2 pounds each, in 2 piles of 6. So this was where the light came from, for there. Secondly, he deals with the service of the Levites. And there are 2 things that are intertwined here, but we'll deal with the Levites first. Moses was instructed, the people were instructed to bring the Levites before them. They were to wash, bathe, shave off all their body hair, and come before the Lord ritually clean. Now, a lot of times people get really hung up and they say, well, what happens if the guy was a sinner? This doesn't make... The point is, the Lord was giving them an instruction of how to ritually prepare themselves. These people had to know that the outward purity, appearance, wasn't going to be of any good to them in living a righteous life. It had to be internal. And just because they washed themselves wasn't going to make them good people. These people understood that by and large. They knew that they were called to the service, and so this was an outward indication of an inner quality of life. And that's what Heavenly Father expects of us. We go through outward ordinances that signify an internal change. And that's what these people were doing. Now the Levites had the responsibility for the service of the tabernacle. And what that meant was that these were the people who brought the water. These were the people who got the wood. These were the people who cleaned the ashes away from the altar. These were the people who took down the tabernacle and put it up. These were the people that carried all the equipment of it. Okay? So that's basically was their responsibility. And for that, they needed to be pure and holy and dedicated to the Lord. They would start that service at the age of 25, and at age 50, many of these people would be very old then. They would have had a rough life. And that service was no longer required. They might serve in other ways, but they no longer had the service of the tabernacle. Now, last but not least, in association with that, there is a difference between the Aaronic priesthood, which is the priesthood that was held by Aaron and his sons, and that which was held by the Levites. It is the same priesthood, except Aaron and his sons were the presiding officers and had one level of that priesthood, which entitled them to offer the sacrifices, make the decisions, do the things that were required a much higher standard of personal purity. And the Levites had the same priesthood, but not as high a standard. They were not entitled to preside. No matter how ritually pure they were not called to preside. Just as Aaron was, no matter how wonderful a person he was, and the fact that he was the older of the two brothers between him and Moses, Moses was the prophet. We find out later that there was a dispute between Miriam and Aaron and Moses, and the Lord showed Miriam who he wanted as the prophet, and Miriam didn't come out all the best on that one. She got scared really bad. So we're looking at all the service for these people, what they needed to do, and that even though they go through these outward symbols, they are supposed to teach these people that they are having an inward change, an inward improvement, a much higher personal standard, so that when they serve, they do so honorably.